Hi, I'm Chloe.
I'm Dylan.
And I'm Brooke.
And we're from the Santa Barbara Middle School Teen Press. And today we're here with
Alex, Sam,
And I'm Trevor.
nice to meet you.
So, what is the first thing you do to prepare for like an interview or a report?
So first thing we do is we just want to make sure that the camera's set up all correctly, that we have everything ready. A big thing that usually ends up being an issue after an interview is the audio sounding weird. So we always want to make sure that the audio is set up nice so we can hear the person nice and well, and camera set up, making sure just the lighting is good. Usually to be ready for the interview, we always want to make sure we have questions ready. It always is a not very professional look when you're interviewing someone and you don't know what to ask them. So you always want to research a little bit about the person, know who you're interviewing. If you don't know the person you're interviewing, don't know like what they're doing, it's kind of a weird interview and it makes you look like you don't know what you're doing. So if you know about the person, you know what questions you want to ask. If it's a question that you could answer in a quick Google search, like why are you asking them that question? So the more you look like you're prepared for interviewing this person and knowing about the person, the better you look and the better the interview usually will be.
Can you just walk us through what goes on in the control room, especially when you're live?
So in the control room, we have three different stations that we have. So we have the TriCaster, which is where we switch between the different inputs. We have overlays and graphics, which is where any full screen overlays and lower thirds are pushed from. And then we have the audio board. Sam's our main operator of the TriCaster, so I can pass you off.
So with the TriCaster, I have to make sure that all the cameras are framed properly so that nobody's getting cut off and nobody's getting in other people's shots. That happens way too much to be happy with, but we get to deal with that. And then I also have to make sure, right now at least, that the green screen looks good and just that there's no weird shadows or grainy parts, just given that we are using a completely virtual set right now. And I also get to ingest all of the media and graphics, like the sidebars that we have, just as a little extra visual part, and make sure those are all spelled correctly and look nice, because we've had some that the images that they put in are just awful quality, so we have to find a new one of those. And we've had some funny spelling mistakes too in the past, so just have to make sure and go through those. And if you want to talk about audio and graphics.
Yeah, so in terms of graphics, we use a software called Titler. We push graphics over Ethernet over a protocol called NDI. And those basically, so we import After Effects templates into Titler, and then we customize the After Effects templates with whatever we need. So if there's a QR code, we'll generate a QR code, import that, and we'll swap out the text for whoever's anchoring that day. And in terms of audio, it's very similar to TriCaster. You swap between the different audio channels as you cut between cameras. You have to make sure the microphones are placed correctly though, because if they're not placed correctly, or if there's an issue with the signal, then you get bad audio quality, and you want to make sure to avoid that. Yeah.
What does the process, this is more for you again, what does the process of gathering relevant information look like? You touched on that, but if you want to go into more detail.
Relevant information for an interview, or do you mean more for our news show?
I would you could go general, but interview, I guess, would be more relevant.
Okay. Yeah, so usually for an interview, for gathering information, we want to know why we're interviewing the person. If we're interviewing a person for their job about being a construction worker and we're asking them stuff that doesn't relate to that, that's kind of weird. So we want to, I guess, gather the questions that you want to ask that are relevant to why you're interviewing them. To gather sorry, can you repeat the question so I can?
What does the process of gathering this information look like?
Right. So if it's someone that's well known on the internet, we may look up information about them online. Or if it's someone, let's say it's an athlete at our school, we'll ask usually their friend or someone that they're on a sport with, about them a little bit, in order to just, I guess, collect the right questions that we want to ask. And usually, just ask questions that we're asking that are usually related to why they're there in the first place. So if they're like an athlete, we'd ask them questions about their season in the sport and stuff like that.
What would you do in the case that you are going out for like an interview for whatever reason and you aren't interviewing someone that you have connections with or you can't find them on the internet? What would you start with?
So if I'm interviewing a person, I don't know why I'm interviewing them like at all, or
You just, what was it?
like, so if I'm, do you mean like if I'm interviewing a person and I don't know like anything about them?
I wouldn't say that. I'd say you don't, obviously you know who the person is, but you don't know like background information to base your questions off of, like specific things that might not be commonly asked. What would you go from there?
Like right now,
I'm giving up.
we didn't know we were going to interview you guys specifically, but we knew kind of what we were, like the type of person we were going to interview. What would you do in that scenario?
Okay. So you don't know the person, but you know why you're interviewing them. Yeah. So I would usually just more general the questions around the reason I'm interviewing them, not the person, right? Because you're interviewing you're interviewing all of us about the control room or the process of interviewing, stuff like that. Like you wouldn't ask me specifically about my involvement in the DPEA because you don't know that about me. So you're asking me questions about the reason that you want to hear stuff from me. So more just questions like, yeah, just more questions based on the profession of the person and why you want to hear from them. Like you don't need to know a specific director, specific movies that he directed in order to ask about like the process of directing a movie or why he likes directing a movie. So yeah, there's ways to find general questions that you don't specifically need to know about the person, but that you could still ask to get really interesting information from the person.
Thank you, Claire. That's what I meant.
Why do you think student journalism is important?
Yeah, it can
Or like DP media or any of this?
I think this is a question we could all answer. I think it's important because I just think the younger that people start, the better the professional field is going to be coming out of either high school or college. I know students who have been in this program and have had jobs in media either while still being in high school or right off the bat, right after high school. And I just think that's really special because what we're doing here is there's lots of even colleges that don't have it. So just the fact for people to be coming out of the gate, out of high school, knowing how to do just stuff like even just like operate a camera or how to conduct a well-constructed interview, just the skills that you learn aren't so important that you can take to a professional news studio or a sports media center. It's just really cool to have all those skills learned just at younger and younger ages.
I think it's important because, like, specifically coming from the control room, we produce it more than like find the information. Like just getting that information out to other students and learning all of this early, like Trevor said, is so helpful because then it's like you just get that exposure throughout. Like if you are going into it later in life, you're just going to get that exposure throughout your life and like be more used to that kind of environment and just have more experience with that. So just seconding everything Trevor said and adding on, just get it out there, like make sure people know what you're saying and like in a better way than just over the PA system, for example, because we had to deal with Woodard doing that for a little while. Not great.
I think it's important because it really gives like the younger people a voice. So like with student broadcast, student journalism, you get to see this perspective of younger people, and I think that's something really important. Yeah.
Do you think these skills could be carried over into different like aspects? And do you think if you didn't continue on the path you were on, these sort of base skills you're building, they would stick with you and help you later in life?
Yeah, 100%. I think the skills are applicable to different stuff. Like for me, example, I know that what I want to do for like a living and a job, I do know I want to do something in media, but I don't know what. But just the skills of video editing to storytelling to operating a camera, those skills can go into a ton of different jobs, not just like working in a news studio. And the ability to have all those different skills, yes, is definitely important because like what I just said, like I don't know what I want to do, but these skills cover such a vast array of different jobs that no matter what I go into, these skills that I learned in this are applicable no matter what. Even in like business or anything like that, my leadership roles in this have helped and could benefit me in a ton of different jobs.
In the control room specifically, like I know Alex, you definitely agree with this. We'd have to problem solve and fix things every single day, and like we don't just problem solve with tech. Like we have to problem solve with finding images and finding different ways of finagling text into shorter spaces that we can't edit, and just bringing that like a little bit of our leadership and problem solving to any job that we take.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. I think you also like, in terms of like doing interviews, you really like learn how to communicate more effectively, and that's a valuable skill for pretty much any job. Yeah.
Sam, this question is very specifically for you. How did being in the Santa Barbara Middle School Teen Press, like where we are right now, help you be more successful in DP Media?
I never did Teen Press. The only media classes that I took DTL's wacky filmmaking class, and that sort of like introduced me to camera work and like video stuff, as well as some of Colin's photo classes, which also brought me into cameras. And I was just like, oh, these are really cool, and you can just like show people things that they wouldn't be able to like see or know otherwise through this medium. And I think that's just really cool.
What do you think is the best part of being a journalist?
I think the best part is the fact that you can tell stories and expose people to stories that they normally wouldn't see. Like, for example, when I was not in DPNews, but when I was watching it every day, just the stories that would come out of it, like there was this guy who had a surfboard shop and did custom surfboards, and this guy who like skateboarded. I just think it's really cool exposing people who wouldn't normally see these stories to see them. And it is important to tell these stories, because if you're not there to tell those stories, who will? So it's just, you are pretty much the tunnel that's sending out all the information to other people. There are stores who, there are stores and people may tell a story about that store and why it's special. And it's almost like a form of advertisement as well, but it shows more people who wouldn't normally see the story, the store, the special person with a unique skill. It's you are telling people about this and hey, look at this. And that is a really special way of doing that, is through videography and journalism.
I think my favorite part about journalism is probably just the connections that you get, because it's connections are a huge thing in the media industry, and we sort of, with all these problem-solving situations that we've had, can get a closer connection with each other, having stayed all the way through second period trying to figure out some audio issue, or just going with DP Media to STN and then meeting a bunch of those people that are in the industry that you may want to go into, and they give you their phone number, and then you have that into the community, and it's that'll just help you on later in life, and just it'll give you references and connections to do that. And I think that's just really, really neat.
Yeah, I'd say a really, really cool part of journalism for me is kind of similar to what Trevor said, but being able to show different perspectives to people. You can, a lot of different people have a lot of different perspectives, and through journalism you get to show all those different perspectives to people. And I think that just really helps to contribute to building a better perspective overall. I don't think more perspectives is ever really a bad thing necessarily.